So let's go ahead talking about seeing them shine. Let's go ahead and hop into the Pacers Heat series. As far as the Heat goes, surprisingly enough, I looked at some of the numbers. I know he's been a little bit nicked up as well, but Jimmy Butler in the bubble, he's averaged 16 points a game. He had one performance where he only scored 7. I think that was the opener against the Thunder. He only played in 4 games. Duncan Robinson, Bam Adebayo, and Jay Crowder have all shined in his place. And so if Butler can get back to the Butler we're used to seeing, then watch out.
Yeah, for me, the biggest key for the Pacers is to get the inside game going. Obviously, the Miami Heat are well known right now for their perimeter defense, the physical style of defense that they play. And I mean, they are very physical. Putting it down into the post, get it to the post, get it to the post, get it to the post. And eventually that does open things up for your shooters. And the Pacers have good shooters. The Pacers are able to hit the three-point shot. I mean, TJ Warren's hitting it really well. Doug McDermott is starting to figure those things out. Victor Oladipo is a good three-point shooter. So the key for me is definitely getting Miles Turner going, getting him involved early and often, but not on the perimeter. Get him going down in the low post, and he's going to be able to be a big difference maker for this team to really get things opened up on the offensive end.
So we go into our first hot or cold question for the night, and that is the Pacers will beat the Heat. I've got that, unfortunately, B. Scott, as a cold take. I think the series will go 7. I think it'll be a tough series. I think it'll be a good series. But I think Warren's lack of playoff experience, this is literally his first playoff series he's ever been a part of. And I'm not saying that he's going to just basically go, the lights are going to turn on and he's just going to drop the basketball and not know what he's doing. But at the same time, I mean, it is a different brand of basketball, and it is different, especially because of the bubble situation. So it's not kind of the playoffs you're used to seeing anyway. So he's getting into his first playoff series, and Oladipo, like it or not, still not at 100%. So I think obviously but the great thing is for the Pacers is those are two things that, are not completely out of the question to expect those two things to get on the right track. Like saying that Warren's lack of playoff experience and that Oladipo isn't 100%, those are not two things that means they're definitely sunk. Oladipo could shine, Warren could shine, those, they could, both shine, and the Pacers will be okay. But I think those are the two reasons why the Pacers will not beat the Heat in the postseason.
Yeah, I'm going to say this is a cold take as well. I'm not willing to put a number on how many games it goes, just because I can't tell you. Honestly, I cannot tell you until I see game 1. I think game 1 is going to really, really, truly set the tone for this entire series for either team. Is one of the teams going to sweep the other? No. I think it's going to be a contested series, but am I willing to say it's going to go 7? No, I'm not willing to go that, because I need to see game 1 to see how both teams are reacting to a different type of playoff atmosphere. That's going to be a big thing to look at. And I'm not going to sit here and say the Pacers are going to lose because of Warren's lack of playoff experience, because guess what? Any past playoff experience kind of gets thrown out the window this season because it's such a different experience. You don't have the electricity of the playoff atmosphere. It's the playoffs. And
I remind you a little bit of the NCAA tournament as far as being on a neutral court. Like that kind of thing. That's what it kind of reminds me of. I mean, I know there's still no electricity.
To an extent. Like if you're watching two East Coast teams battle it out on the West Coast in the early rounds, yeah, it is. That's kind of what it's similar to, but not the later rounds when they're closer to the fan bases.
Right.
But this is just a different type of atmosphere. I mean, there's no crowd, and I mean it's automated crowd noise, so there's no ebbs and flows with the crowd throughout the game. So any type of playoff experience, I'm basically throwing that out the window because it doesn't matter this year. Other than you can look at it almost just like you're restarting your season, essentially.
Right.
So I don't think that's going to be a huge factor, but I do believe the Heat will ultimately end up beating the Pacers just because of the style of play the Heat put out on the court.